What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So we actually finally have some news to go over here. It's been so busy with game testing and reviews and all that. Of course, we have Monster Hunter Wilds coming up and everything, but we have something here that I've actually been waiting for. So some sales numbers for the handhelds in general, an idea of where the Steam Deck sits, and that type of thing. So I thought this was pretty interesting to get into. These numbers came out yesterday, and there's been a lot of articles on this. So we're just going to jump into a TechSpot article and read through this a little bit and talk about some of these numbers for the handheld PC market. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so like I said, let's get into this TechSpot article. Handheld gaming PCs surpassed 6 million sales, with Steam Deck accounting for more than half. AMD-powered devices drive the rise of handheld gaming PCs, and Intel is on their way. Certainly have done a great job with their second-generation Ultras. The big picture, released 3 years ago today, Valve's Steam Deck has become one of the most notable products in PC gaming hardware, creating an entirely new market segment. While manufacturers like GPD began selling handheld gaming PCs years earlier, estimates from IDC show that the Steam Deck vastly dominates the market. However, the potential for future growth remains uncertain. I didn't cover handheld PCs until 2022 when the Steam Deck came out. I said in 2020, if you've been following me for very long, when I did nothing but cloud gaming and some other PC stuff, that I was waiting for the hardware to get where it needed to be to start covering handhelds. Everything before the Steam Deck wasn't worth the money that they were selling it for the performance you could get out of the stuff. Once the Steam Deck came out, then we started having things like the Legion Go, the Ally, the Claw, and the mainstream companies making this stuff is when I got into it and started to really see that push. So according to IDC, estimates provide to The Verge, approximately 6 million handheld gaming PCs have been sold since the Steam Deck's launch in 2022. Despite having little retail presence, Valve's handheld accounts for over 3.7 million of those units, so pushing 4 million out of the 6 million units sold, making them dominating what about almost 2/3 of the market. Valve previously stated that the Steam Deck is sold in the multiple millions. IDC estimates suggest that it sold 1.62 million units in 2022, with total lifetime sales possibly exceeding 4 million by now. Yeah, I would say the estimates we have now, that 3.7, probably closer to 4, as the handheld market is growing pretty quickly as far as the new market goes. Definitely something we've been watching. But yeah, this has been interesting. The Steam Deck is definitely, without a doubt, even without these numbers, everyone knows it's been the most dominant. It's the easiest, accessible, it's budget friendly for PC handheld gaming. It's not going to come anywhere near sales of something like a Switch or something like that, but it's really helping to drive the market and bring other companies along with them. And as I've been saying for a couple of years, I think around 2027 is when we really start to see hardware and price and the market and everything get to a place it needs to be to really grow. We'll see if I'm right about that. I just think we're still in kind of the infancy of these handheld PCs. All right, we got this little picture right here. Combined Valve Steam Deck, ASUS ROG Ally, Lenovo Legion Go, and MSI Claw figures include all SKUs and associated hardware families. Combined shipments of the Steam Deck, ASUS ROG Ally, Lenovo Legion Go, and MSI Claw peaked at approximately 2.87 million units in 2023, dropped to 1.49 million last year, and are projected to reach just under 2 million by the end of 2025. I think we'll see a slight uptick this year because of the amount of new hardware coming out. I know a lot of people waiting for the Z2 Extreme, this new Intel chip, like I said, and the Claw 8's actually very good, and I think will be competitive later this year. But I think momentum might start to grow a little bit more by the time we get into mid to end of this year. But again, I think we're about 2 more years of moving on these things before they really get going. The Steam Deck represents about half of the sales in both 2023 and 2024. These estimates do not include sales from companies like GPD and Ioneo, whose market's impact is difficult to determine. Yeah, a little bit different with those companies. Although these figures do not indicate strong growth, AMD's head of gaming marketing, Frank Azor, described the market's expansion from virtually 0 to 6 million units in 3 years as amazing. AMD's upcoming Ryzen Z2 chips are expected to power a new generation of handheld gaming PCs starting this year. Now, that is something to note that when I talk to a lot of people about gaming handhelds like gaming PCs and all the stuff I cover here, even though they are very impressive, especially for someone like me who comes from Game Boy and Game Gear way back in the day, I think what we have now is absolutely amazing, and people who complain are probably very young. But point is, a lot of people are waiting for more power and performance. A lot of people, especially gaming and the younger age with resolution and settings and all of that, want more performance and aren't really jumping into a lot of these devices until they get there. I think there's a whole market left that we'll get into when the price to performance gets to a place that makes more sense. Like I said, I still think we're in the very infancy of a lot of the stuff with the handheld PCs. That said, the Nintendo Switch 2 has very little to worry about. The biggest challenge facing the upcoming handheld console may be convincing its predecessors, massive 150 million strong install base, to upgrade. However, handheld gaming PCs and traditional consoles operate under vastly different business models, making direct comparisons. So yeah, it's totally different. When I see comparisons of a Nintendo Switch or a Switch 2 to handheld gaming PCs, it's just they're such totally different worlds. It makes zero sense to bring those guys together. And the thing that's always going to make a Nintendo product sell is their IP. Whether you're a Nintendo fan or not, or whether you've grown out of them or never cared for them, doesn't matter. They still have the largest IPs on the planet. They still sell the most games. They have the strongest games first party, and they're going to continue with that. They're going to have new Mario Kart and all the games that everybody wants to buy from Nintendo, and this next Switch will definitely sell. Nintendo could absolutely survive with no third-party support and only push first party if they absolutely had to. They just have the strongest IP lineup. I get mad that they don't use it enough. I think we could get a lot more of those IPs. They have so many franchises. I think we could see a lot more on Switch and on Nintendo, but they have their own pace there. But yeah, the Nintendo Switch 2 launching, handheld gaming PCs, I really don't, those are two totally different markets. The only thing though that I do think where they kind of cross and can affect each other more is like if they come out with the Switch for, you know, the $399 price and it is powerful enough and with upscaling and everything, it starts to get a majority of games again, like a majority of third party like Nintendo used to, or like other platforms, or they get all the games that PlayStation and Xbox have been getting for the past couple of generations while Nintendo was behind on power, so they've really not relied on a lot of that. If they get to the point now where they can pretty much get all the games everybody else is getting, that with its price point to performance could potentially affect people buying a handheld PC or a Switch 2. But that's something that we'll have to see how that pans out once this thing comes out too this year. Since the Steam Deck and similar devices are an extension of PC gaming, analyzing their performance against gaming laptops or pre-built PC sales might provide more meaningful insight. Exactly. Previous reports from IDC and other analysts suggest that while the overall PC market saw modest growth last year, PC gaming continues to expand at a healthy pace. PC gaming has been expanding for years. It's billions, a couple of billion by now. It was 1.86 billion PC gamers a few years ago. So yeah, it's definitely a market that's continuing to grow, be it from handheld desktops or laptops. Whether the Steam Deck or the expansion of its SteamOS operating system can further drive this growth remains uncertain. The device is only available in a limited number of countries and receives almost no marketing outside of the Steam client. Don't expect the Steam Deck 2 anytime soon, though, as other handheld gaming PCs adopt faster processors. Valve is holding off until a generational leap with comparable battery life becomes feasible, which I actually think we might be getting there with the Steam Deck 2 come spring of 2026. I could be wrong about that. I definitely think we're getting a Steam Deck 2 in 2026 sometime. I think spring maybe, could be as late as fall. If they push out to 2027, we'll have to see what happens with that and what they come out with. But I really hope they've got something that is a worthwhile upgrade, of course, but also would be ready for next year, maybe around that 4-year mark. Because as we all know in the PC world, I know it's a little different with handhelds, and the Steam Deck certainly is still relevant in 2025, and I would still recommend getting one for a lot of reasons. But, you know, we are getting to the point that hardware is getting awfully long in the tooth, and it would be nice to see a Steam Deck 2 at least next year. But anyways, guys, that's the article here. I just wanted to kind of go over it. Interesting with the numbers. So that's leaving about 2 million units left over to divvy up between these other companies that they gathered numbers for, which would be the Legion Go, the MSI Claw, and the Asus Rog Ally. So those three combined are making up the other 33% or so of sales, right? Of the other one third. And I had heard that the Legion Go had been around 500,000 units. I don't know how accurate that is. That's something I'll have to look into. But it would kind of make sense. I could see, I don't think the original Claw did very well. I think most of us know how that went last year. I don't know how it affected sales, but I know the Rog Ally and the Legion Go are going to be the two higher sellers out of those three with the Claw at the bottom. So those guys are probably holding, you know, with those numbers, 1 to 1.5 million in sales on the market, maybe a few 100,000 for the Claw. That's being super generous, and then the rest of 4 million or so to the Steam Deck. So pretty interesting breakdown there, and be interesting to see how this goes over the next couple of years, how this market grows and what these companies do, and really what happens when we get kind of a new landscape, when the Switch 2 is out, the Steam Deck 2 eventually is out, and these other handhelds get to a point which is starting this year, you know, where they have more performance for their price and the kind of thing that people are looking for in a device like that. So anyways, guys, I just wanted to go over this and talk about it a little bit. I'm super interested in this stuff. I've been waiting for the PC handheld market for years. It's been a lot of fun to cover it the past 3 years, and I look forward to covering it for hopefully many, many more years here. So anyways, as always, thanks a lot for coming to check out the video. I really appreciate it. I'll see you guys in the next one.